story called The Frightened Dragon.
Yeah, it's about this boy, Tom, and a dragon who maybe isn't quite what you'd expect.
Right. So Tom, he's this curious kid, lives near this big mountain, and one day he thinks, I'm going to climb it.
Even though the local stories, the legends, they all said this fierce dragon lived up there. Gutsy kid.
Totally. And as he's climbing, getting higher up, the view's amazing. You can see the river, the little villages down below.
Classic picturesque scene.
Exactly. But then he spots it, a big dark hole in the rock face, a cave kind of hidden away.
Ooh. And right away your brain goes there, doesn't it? Could
Right.
that be the cave? The lair of the scary dragon everyone talks about?
That's the big question. So imagine Tom, maybe his heart's pounding a little bit,
Just a bit.
but he goes closer. And instead of this, like, earth-shattering roar,
What does he hear?
he hears this tiny, squeaky voice. Seriously.
No way. Like a mouse.
Almost. And this little voice is trying to sound tough, warning him off, saying, got any swords, got any arrows? Because if you do, I'll chase you away.
Oh my goodness. So the dragon, it's scared.
Completely terrified, it totally flips the script, doesn't it? You're expecting this monster, but you find this frightened creature.
And Tom, how does he react? Does he run?
Nope. He's brilliant. He just calmly says, no, I don't have any weapons. And then he drops this bombshell. People don't really use bows and arrows anymore.
Huh. You can just imagine the silence from the cave after that.
Exactly. The voice is like, they don't. Just pure astonishment. It's like news from another century for this dragon.
Which I guess gives Tom a bit more confidence.
Yeah, he asks if he can come in, just have a look, and the voice is still hesitant, squeaks out another threat like, okay, but if you try anything, I'll eat you.
Said with absolutely zero conviction, I bet.
Probably. But Tom promises he's harmless, and he steps into the cave. It's dark inside.
Right.
And there, huddled way in the back, is this red dragon, just cowering there.
Wow. So Tom finally sees him. And is he scared now?
Not really. He's more surprised. He actually says something like, hey, you look just like the dragon in the pictures down at the town hall. We all thought you were. Well, gone.
That is such a kid thing to say. Just blurts it out. Innocent.
It really is. And that's when we learn the dragon's name is Wenzel.
Wenzel the dragon. Okay.
And Wenzel explains why he's been hiding, why he's so scared. Apparently, a long, long time ago, there was this king, King Betterspood.
Betterspood. Sounds like a character.
Right, and this king was always trying to hunt Wenzel down, send knights after him, the whole deal. So Wenzel just hid.
Which sets up Tom for another big reveal, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Tom has to break it to Wenzel gently that things have changed. A lot.
Like what?
Well, first off, people don't hunt dragons anymore. In fact, there's like a preservation order. They're protected now.
Seriously.
Yep. And the other piece of news, that King Betterspood,
Let me guess.
he's been dead for over 100 years.
100 years. Oh, poor Wenzel. Imagine hiding in a cave for a century because of a guy who's long gone.
I know, Wenzel just can't believe it. 100 years, just poof, wasted in fear.
That's actually really sad when you think about it. All that time alone.
Tom points that out too, very kindly. Says Wenzel must be incredibly hungry after hiding for so long.
And does Wenzel explain why he was so scared of the king? Besides the obvious, I mean.
Yeah, he says he remembers how much it hurt when the knights shot arrows at him. He even shows Tom some old scars, like marks on his head where he got hit.
Ouch. Okay, yeah, you can understand the fear then. That's traumatic.
Definitely. It makes it all very understandable. And Tom, bless him, he actually apologizes. Says sorry for how people treated Wenzel back then.
That's really sweet.
And then he makes an offer. He says, why don't you come down to the village with me? Everyone will be kind now. We'll look after you.
Wow. Big step for Wenzel. Doesn't
Oh,
take it.
yeah. He thinks about it for a long time. You can imagine him weighing it up, the fear versus the loneliness, the hunger.
And the promise of kindness.
Exactly. And finally, slowly, he nods. He's just so tired of being scared and alone. He decides to trust Tom.
Oh, that's a lovely moment.
It really is. And the story describes him leaving the cave, taking this big breath of fresh air, maybe for the first time in decades, following Tom carefully down the mountain path.
Seeing the world again after 100 years. What must that have felt like?
Incredible, I imagine. The sun, the wind. The story even mentions him drinking sweet water from the river and feeling a bit sad, regretting all the time he'd lost, hiding away.
Oh. So what happens when they get to the village? Do people freak out?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But no. The villagers are, they're amazed, obviously, but mostly they're proud. They think it's wonderful to have a real dragon.
Really? No pitchforks.
None. They actually take really good care of him. Even the people who were maybe a bit nervous about dragons at first, they warm up to Wenzel pretty quickly. He's not scary after all.
That's fantastic. So Wenzel finds a good home.
Absolutely. He learns to trust people again, sees they aren't the enemy he thought they were. He's finally safe and, content.
And what about him and Tom?
Oh, they become the best of friends. Inseparable. It's really the heart of the story, that friendship.
That makes sense. Tom was the one who found him, who wasn't scared.
And Wenzel even starts going to school. Can you picture a dragon sitting in a classroom?
Huh. Trying to fit at a desk.
Maybe they made him a special one. But he loves books, apparently. Catching up on 100 years of misreading.
That's brilliant. Anything else? Does he, use his dragonness for fun?
He does. During village festivals and celebrations, he actually gives the kids rides. Flies them gently around the village square.
Okay, that is officially the coolest thing ever. Imagine getting a ride on a friendly dragon.
Right. From feared beast to beloved village mascot and friend, it's quite the transformation.
Does he ever go back to the cave?
Funny you should ask. Yes, sometimes he still flies back up the mountain to his old cave just for a quiet nap.
Oh, old habits die hard, I guess.
Especially after 100 years. It's probably just, familiar, comfortable.
What a wonderful story. It really doesn't go the way you expect, does it?
Not at all. It starts with this rumor of terror and ends up being about, well, kindness, understanding, overcoming fear.
And finding friends where you least expect them. It makes you think, doesn't it? About things we might be afraid of.
Yeah, things that seem scary from a distance. Maybe, like Wenzel, if we got a bit closer, we'd see they aren't so bad after all. Or that the fear is based on something really old, like King Bitterspoot being long gone.
So maybe the takeaway is, what old fears are we holding on to? Fears that might be based on, totally outdated information.
That's a great question to ponder. Perhaps look into other stories about unlikely friendships, or just think about times when assumptions turned out to be wrong.
Definitely food for thought. Well, thanks for taking this delightful deep dive with us today.